Have mercy on us. Every one of us should begin to think twice and focus on what is ahead of us. There is war going on in Biafra land. The war that have been talked about for a very long time, and some of us ignore it. The war is going on in Biafra land. And every one of us have to wake up and key in. Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. Support the United States of Biafra the best way you can. Nobody knows it all. There is no government of the world where there are no challenges and problems. I am not telling you that the United States of Biafra government is 100% okay for now. No, it is not. Even in the United States of Biafra government, we have problems. We have issues. But is division the solution? Division is never a solution. We have to continue to work. We have to continue to manage it. We have to continue to put things together, put ideas together, tolerate a lot of things until our leaders join us. And then we can be able to strengthen things and continue to build. If you are looking for perfection, there is no perfection anywhere. There is no perfection anywhere. But as we stand today, we are lucky that we are in the structure. That structure is very important. The structure put in place by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The structure upon which Mazi Simon Ekpa established everything he established. That structure is very important. If you are in that structure, you have solved the problem halfway. For the fact that you are with the United States of Biafra, you have joined to solve the problem halfway. The other half, we can continue to manage it and patch it until our leaders join us together. And then we make things the way it should be. Running from pillar to pole cannot save anybody. The problem we are having in Biafra land today was created by this same group of individuals who refused to fall into the structure of Mazi Simon Ekpa. And they fall back to something I do not know. Today, where they have fallen back to, they are falling out from where they fall back to. And that is why I don't know why Biafrans still go to these platforms and listen to them. I can't just understand why. I try to understand, why do Biafrans still go to this platform after they lie to you once, twice, thrice? You have seen it before your eyes. These people are very inconsistent and have nothing or plan for you. Yet, you keep on returning to those platforms. You keep on following them. And very soon, they are going to see their fundraising, and you will go there to donate money. You will go there to watch them. You will go there to participate. It is very sad. A very, very sad thing that nobody should agree or allow. But I hope that by the special grace of Chukwu Kabiam, that my brothers and sisters, we shall do what we have to do to get things right and get things better. I can see my brother Amuche there. Amuche, can you hear me? Amuche, you've gone out. I just saw Amuche. What happened? I saw my brother Amuche join me, and I just welcomed him, and he left. Amuche, resend your request if you are there. Resend the request so that I can bring you in. I just saw your request. I brought you in and you left. So I know people are in various places with different time zone. This is not our usual time for program. You know, my program is always in the morning hours, but I have to include this evening. Whenever I have time in the evening, I come up and speak to Biafran people. So, my fellow Biafrans, we must continue to do what we have to do, and we must not allow the enemies to overrun us. I want us to listen to this message this message of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekwanchoko. Let us listen to this message, to use it to support what we are saying and also to encourage the Biafran people across the world.
And it was bound to happen that people would rise up. My father said it. He said, if you don't treat this Biafra,
please let me know if you can hear me.
Will rise up. So anybody that is acting as if they are surprised, they're either ignorant or they don't want to face reality. So when the people rise up and begin to agitate, like IPOB and other groups, what you need to do is give them a space. What a true leader does is create space for dialogue. Now, one of the things I praise IPOB and other pro-Biafran groups for, because I know there's been others, is that they have finally brought this story to light. They played a key role, so they must be commended for doing that.
I want to be sure you can hear me. If you're hearing me,
which is father,
if you can hear the video, let me know.
If you do not treat their parents good, their children will rise against you. He acknowledged that finally we have brought the Biafra story to life. I'm going to shock many people today with the exposition we are here to do. So we have just confirmed that this Biafra story, that many people were killed in order to even continue to kill today.
You're welcome, brother Amuche. Are you there? Amuche, you're gone again. What is happening, Amuche? What is happening with your listen? Biafrans, are you hearing? Is the voice coming out? Let me know if the voice is coming out. Let me know if the voice is coming out. The video I'm playing as it plays. If it's not coming out, let me know.
Today they have decided that if you talk about Biafra, you are dead. They're gonna kill you, they're gonna burn your house and everything. And that's exactly what is going on. But what little did they know that not even that can stop us. That can make us very strong. But now that we are going into an open confrontation, which is gonna start very soon, I want everybody to listen because we are going to drag all of them into this. There will never be peace until you allow Biafra people to decide their fate in that region. It is the right. Where your rights stop is where other person's rights start. And it's our right to freedom, and that's what we are fighting for. And if you think that you are more in number, you conduct a referendum and let us see how it goes. But I want everyone to listen to this particular analysis.
As nobody would care about the tragedy of our history. You know, a lot of people talk about Chimamanda as half of the Yellow Sun as bringing the story to light. In a sense, yes. But even her book received the attention it did partly because of pro-Biafra groups and struggles. Self-determination is something that we must continue to aspire for. You know, it's not about young people only. It's not about any group of people. It's not about Igbos. It's about self-determination. And if you look at most of us here, we come from lands that provide Nigeria with the majority of its wealth. And people have called us minority. And we're tired of that. By the way, you also have oil on Igbo land, you know, so let's not let's make that fact clear, because it's also been used against the Igbos, the fact that they want to come and take other people's oil.
Did you hear that? He is making it very clear that you also have oil in Igbo soil. So anybody telling you do not listen to the Igbo because they want to take your oil is a complete fallacy. That is the propaganda that the ignorant people are flying over social media. So, and he is a son to Philip Nephew. And that particular position has corrected it today, that Igbos also have oil in their soil. So anybody telling you we are fighting for Biafra because of oil is a propaganda. Do not believe that.
we need to understand that this is long-standing propaganda that goes back many years before many of us were born. This is propaganda that has demonized Igbos and has made us feel that we are somehow under the threat of Igbos. So that propaganda is still ongoing, even though the evidence shows that that's not true. And when I talk to my people, the things I tell, who's your real enemy? You've been given a state since 67, and you're given the opportunity to control your geographical space and your resources. How have your lives been? Your lives have only gotten worse. The enemy is not evil. The enemies are within you, you're right there in your state. The political and economic elites who are ready to sell you and sell their consciences to make a profit, to make wealth. You should recognize that those are your enemies. Those who would collude with foreign national oil companies to take your wealth away from you so that your hospitals are in such bad shape. Your roads were horrible until Akpabio came and fixed most of them. Your institutions are deteriorating. You know, you are living in poverty. You can't even enjoy something as basic as electricity supply. So it is for us to redirect, refocus on the real enemy. And it's hard to say, within this space. I understand that time is against us. But we need to refocus and recognize who the real enemy is. And the enemy is not the people that we've lived with in harmony for generations, but those who would work with our enemies to undermine our lives, even though some of those people are right within our families, are from our ethnic groups, are speaking the same languages as we are. Those are real. When we understand that that's the real enemy, I think that will help us to come together and focus on that enemy and not focus on what propaganda told us, which is that our neighbors, Igbos, are our problem. Unfortunately, some of our people are buying into it and are actually turning against Igbos for that reason. If you look at people that were killed during the second coup, Major Kanem, Major Song, there's another name. There's someone. There was Major Rock. There was I'm trying to remember the name of someone from what is within the present River State, and many others that people don't want to focus on because they want to make it seem as if it was just Igbos. Or what about the governor of the Western? I'm trying to remember. If someone remembers his name, let me know. He was with Ironsi when Ironsi was abducted. The name will come back. Fajuri, that's his name. Yeah, Fajuri. That's a Yoruba man that was killed. So the attacks, you can say in many ways they were primarily against Igbos, but they were not against Igbos because Igbos are Igbos. They were against Igbos because what they thought Igbos represented. These are the people that will challenge and prevent complete domination and ownership of power. That's how they saw the Igbos, as people who wanted to control everything and take over power. And so anyone they felt was playing that role of trying to prevent them from gaining full power, they went after those people. That's why Fajuri was killed. That's why there were attempts on my father's life. And my father had to flee from Kaduna in disguise and go to Lagos and eventually escape from Lagos to the east. Is he an Igbo man? No, my father could hardly make a sentence in Igbo. You look at the structure, the leadership of Biafra, the secretary to the government, and you have an Igbo man as well. You look at people who play diplomatic roles like Mr. Kobara. I think he's an Ogoni man. Or think about the person who even came up with the name Biafra, Tifo Pigo. Or think about one of the major propagandists in Biafra, Okokondem. Think about one of the greatest respected field commanders, Colonel Achibo. How many of these people are equal? So it is ridiculous. And that's how the Eastern government was on several levels. I agree, with people who say, well, the Igbos occupied, many positions. That's true, but not only the Igbos. there were many others, some of whom I've mentioned. The people I've mentioned were already in the Eastern government. There's the late Korean ambassador, the lawyer. He was also quite significant in the Eastern region, played a number of diplomatic roles before the war. And in the war, I think he headed the Anang province and was also a militia officer. And a lot of these people were together in that body that came and demanded that it is time for us to break away. We're not wanted in this country. We need reassurance. We need safety. We're not getting it. And so we can't continue to exist in fear. We can't continue to exist in a situation where our lives are constantly destroyed. I was a little boy in Enugu before the war. And that's where some of the earliest battles took place. And I remember people marching on the streets. And they were singing, we are Biafrans fighting for survival. In the name of Jesus, we shall conquer. And I remember those people. Sometimes we'll just march beside them. A lot of them were from a range of backgrounds. You could see traders there. You could see landlords. You could see teachers. So this nonsense about this thing being about the egos and the ego elite is crap. It's absolute crap, and it's one of those distortions that people use, not just to denigrate Biafra, but to divide us.
Wow, that's exactly what we are talking about. I haven't listened to Philip Effiong's son, saying it exactly the way it is. What they used to divide us. And he's a Biafran. So he's just trying to tell those who claim that in the Igbo, they are looking for Biafra because of oil, to understand that we also have oil in Igbo land. And we are not after the oil. We are going to have what we call brave basic. Come and fight for your freedom and take your oil. We're not interested in that. Now, this is one of it. Now we are going into the analysis of the day, which is Nigeria, a global trend. Nigeria, a global trend. And why Nigeria must disintegrate this year to enable lasting peace. When Nigeria becomes a global trend, you know what that means. But before we go into that, I would like to play one audio. This audio is in Finnish. This audio was recorded, it's a report from a journalist from Finland in 1968, where it was said that Biafra is going to fight war again. And the prediction of Biafra or Nigeria going into war again is happening this year.
I want you to pay attention to this part of this very program. When Finland today pretend not to know what is happening in Biafra land, they cannot pretend. This video that is about to play is a report made by a Finnish journalist about Biafra and Nigeria. So sometimes when you tell us, send them video, send them this, Finland have first-hand information of what is happening in Biafra land. They know it and they know it very well. They have first-hand information. But for one reason or the other, for economic interest, they decided to sell their soul. And they cannot pretend not to know what is happening. That's why the whole world will see that they are persecuting our prime minister in vain. Unnecessary persecution. A man that has not committed any crime anyway. He has not done anything wrong, but they are persecuting him. The Finnish authorities cannot deny of knowing the atrocities of Nigeria against the Biafran people. I want you to pay very close attention to this portion of this very video, which was made in Finnish. You hear them, they speak Finnish, but our prime minister is going to interpret what they said. A program made by Finnish journalists. Revelation made by them. So whatever is happening today, they have first-hand information. Not they don't know, but for the fact that they have a corrupt person as their leader today. They sold their soul and they are doing a different thing. I want you to pay attention to this part of this very video. Very, very important. Pay attention.
The only difference is that this war is not going to be Biafra Nigeria war. It is going to be the indigenous people in Nigeria versus the Fulani terrorists. And that's exactly what is happening. And it is going to lead to the disintegration of Nigeria for peace to come to the entire Sahel region. And by extension, to the West and to America, that Nigeria is going to sponsor terrorism if you do not disintegrate Nigeria today. I want everybody to listen to the reporter from Finland.
Reporter from Finland, listen and hear from us.
Nigerian liittovaltiosta eronneen Biafran takaisin palauttamiseksi käyty sota on nyt raivonut 14 kuukautta ja Biafran alue on pienentynyt kolmannekseensa. Liittovaltion joukot ovat katkaisseet kaikki maa- ja meriyhteydet ulkomaailmaan ja ainoa tie ulos Biafrasta kulkee lentokentän kautta. Biafran nykyisin 11-miljoonainen kansa taistelee pienellä muutaman 10 000 miehen armeijallaan monta kertaa suurempaa Nigerian liittovaltion armeijaa vastaan, joka armeija kuitenkaan sekään ei ole eurooppalaisen mittapuun mukaan suuri. Sota käydään melkein yksinomaan teitä pitkin ja biafralaiset ovat joutuneet perääntymään kuukausi kuukaudelta, kilometri kilometriltä hitaasti, mutta varmasti. Suurimmat taistelut käydään tällä hetkellä eteläisellä rintamalohkolla ja vastakkain armeijoiden komentajina ovat siellä raakuudestaan kuuluisa kenraali Adekundle Nigerian puolella ja saksalaissyntyinen ammattisotilas kenraali Rudolf Steiner biafralaisten puolella. Rudolf Steiner on 38-vuotias Ranskan muukalaislegionan entinen kersantti, joka tuli Biafraan viime joulukuussa ja nimitettiin nykyiseen asemaansa elokuussa. Viime torstaina hän kuvasi Abassa sotilaallista tilannetta omalla lohkollaan seuraavaan tapaan.
Wenn wir genauso viel Waffen und Munition hätten wie der Feind, in drei Monaten wäre der Krieg zu Ende.
Aber nun,
Nun, das kommt drauf an. Ich rechne mit Hilfe.
jos meillä olisi yhtä paljon ammuksia ja aseita kuin vihollisella, loppuisi sota 3 kuukaudessa, sanoo kenraali Steiner. Mutta nyt lasken kaiken avun varaan, vaikka tästä asiasta ei ole esitettävissä mitään kouriin tuntuvaa. Nykyisellä avustusmäärällä, jonka me saamme, ja jos se pysyy ennallaan, sota kestää 1-5 vuoteen. Uskon, että aivan lähiaikoja ajatellen sissisota on ainoa tai paras keino vapauttaa tämä maa eräänä päivänä.
I want you to understand this is the only thing I want you to listen. And this is the only thing I want to interpret. Senator Rolf Stenau said it very clearly that he believed that Biafra will be free from Nigeria, but that would not happen without war. He believed also that someday Biafra